good morning from the Hill of Slane, County Meath, on a very foggy morning. Can you see it yet? The whole hill is shrouded in fog. Reminds me a little bit about that epic battle between St. Patrick and the Druids. The Druids had made the sky turn dark and brought a fog down, shrouding everything. And of course, Patrick succeeded in removing the fog. The great worker of miracles that he was. And so we see coming into view the structures here on the Hill of Slane that remind us of its wonderful Christian heritage. On the right, the ruins of the college where the I think it was just 4 monks lived. I'm going to take a stab at this. It's either the 15th or the 16th century. I think it might be the 16th. Oh, that's nice there now. And on the left, the ruins of the churchyard and the belfry of the church. Here floating past me, a feather in the breeze. The sun is starting to appear. So let's have a quick look. Was I right? Yeah. 1512, 16th century. Franciscan friary was founded by the Flemings, well, Christopher Fleming. The remains of the college was founded to serve the church and housed 4 priests, 4 lay brothers and 4 choristers. Let's have a look at where they lived. Coat of arms above the doorway. I don't know much about these things. Must take the official tour. I believe it's a Plantagenet coat of arms. And so apparently this is where they lived. You might be able to see there 4 fireplaces. 1 room for each of the monks. And at some point there were, one presumes, huge beams supporting the first floor. And here, looking a little bit vandalised, St. Patrick himself, looking out over the scene, looking eastwards towards the place where on a clear day you'd see the Boyne Valley and Drogheda and the sea, the Irish Sea in the far distance. It's only about 10 miles away. We're going to visit a very special place now. Very interesting and intriguing remnant of some hoary age of unknown date. So at night time all of this is illuminated. There are floodlights that light the ruins. At twilight actually, you've probably seen some of my pictures. It's a nice scene at twilight. So these are some of the oldest headstones in the cemetery. Some of them are, most of them are unmarked. These are possibly, I'd say 17th or 18th century graves. And here, a peculiar pair of stones, said in local folklore to be the burial place of St. Erc, who was the first Bishop of Slane, consecrated by Patrick himself. It's a very, very peculiar arrangement of stones. Interestingly, this one has a groove all the way down it. And apparently, and I have observed this, I was shown this by Sean Gilmartin years ago, maybe 10 years ago now, that, you know, that groove aligns north and south, and that when the sun is at the meridian, it is in line with this groove. Conversely, if one comes around this side, one looks up along the groove, one would be looking towards the North Star, Polaris. And so if you've read my work, particularly Island of the Setting Sun, and the page about Slane on mythicalireland.com, you'll know that there's another interesting curiosity about Slane. Oh, look at this. Oh, yeah, it's beautiful. I love Ireland. I love the way beautiful flowers grow from old stones. There in the distance, on the peak of the hill, on the summit of the hill, shrouded in trees, you cannot see it in this view, is a mound, an ancient mound, said to have been built by the Normans, but probably much, much older than that. In folklore and in myth, said to be Hill of Slane, the burial place of the Fir-Bolg king, from whom Slane takes its name. And so it's really interesting how thoroughly this site has been Christianised. You know, that one comes up the hill in a defined sort of avenue or pathway leading up from the car park, and one gets the impression of a place that has only ever been Christian, and yet shrouded in the trees and hidden, obscured in the mists of a hoary age of unknown date, because this mound could be Norman, which would make it 12th, 13th century. It could be much older. It could be a Bronze Age barrow. It could be a Neolithic passage tomb. It's actually in there under the largest clump of trees. Lies the older history of Slane. Something much more ancient. Archaeologists, including Conor Brady of Dundalk Institute of Technology, who actually lives in Slane, have been investigating this mound using modern archaeological techniques. Now, so far, the results have been inconclusive. And maybe someday there'll be even a small amount of excavation that might tell us a little bit more about its true origins. The mound, interestingly, is surrounded by an enclosure, a large circular enclosure. It's a little bit henge-like in some respects. I have a photo of that I must share, a drone picture. Very substantial enclosure. But anyway, it's interesting that those things that are on the summit of the hill, on the highest part of the hill, are actually the things that are least seen and are actually the most ancient. Nonetheless, Slane is a beautiful place. We used to come up here as kids for picnics at the weekends on Sundays. And I've been coming here ever since. I just love the place. It's lovely. I mean, I know that some of you undoubtedly will talk about energy and, you know, the energy of a place. There's a lovely energy here, actually. A sort of an invigorating energy, an affirmative energy, you know. And then, of course, you can see why Patrick, I mean, there was political reasons. There were political reasons that Patrick chose Slane as the place where he would light the Paschal fire. There are, I believe, cosmological, astronomical reasons too. But the political reasons were that he was going to be seen, by the king of Tara, Lera, and also he's overlooking the great mounds of Brunabónia. And if you wanted to bring a new religion, where better to bring it than the valley where the most ancient religion had flourished and the belief in the ancient deities. Anyway, that is my brief tour of the Hill of Slane. I'm going to take my camera out now. The sun is coming through. I'll take my camera out and take some pictures. Hope you've enjoyed this. Don't forget, if you want to see more, visit mythicalireland.com. And if you're on Facebook, look for Mythical Ireland on Facebook. I'm Anthony Murphy. This is the Hill of Slane. Glorious Sunday morning in August.